Alright, hey everybody. I guess let's get started. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday so far. As for me, nothing really out of the ordinary has gone on. Just been a normal day, so I guess that's fine. Now it seems like it might start to a pretty bad storms coming on, so cross our fingers that everything goes well, but I guess the worst that'll happen is you might hear a little thunder. Anyway, so yesterday, I guess I could just show, we finished selecting targets. Yeah, I think we did. I know that we at least got targets to show up on the map. So if I click here and move, so now we know we can move to any of these places. And then if I click, let's look. Yeah, so now the selection phase is complete. And if we look in the debug, we can see the scope of the target is the third option. So I'll take its word for it that this is the index. I can't tell just off the top of my head, but it should be good. So next up, we need to go back into these ability scripts and make another script that will transform, well, basically, now that we know what target we want, we need the ability to give us a list of actions that the game will take. And it's the same actions that we send to the server and then sort later on. So we can see here. So basically, okay, so one of the main things about Pokemon is that we don't have, or one of the main differences about this game as opposed to the chess game is that we don't have complete information about everything. So that's why we might need to have action trees, such as, let's just use Pokemon as an example. If something is super effective, you do double damage. So we'll need to have, well, you would always know the Pokemon's type, but let's just pretend that it might be hidden. So we'll have a tree that says, I don't know, if Pokemon is fire type, then this attack will do 400 damage. Otherwise, it will do 200, or just for example. And since we don't have that information at this point, we need to try and encode that into the actions. And then here we can see we collapse the trees during the ordering phase. So once everyone has chosen all their actions, we would query the server for information about the other players that we don't know, and then we'd be able to collapse the action trees while we're sorting everything up. So I think, oh yeah, and then we need to think about this trigger event. I actually haven't had time to work on that yet, but everything seems fine now. Oh, hi Offie Gamer. I'm doing great, how are you? Alright, I guess let's test this one more time. So if we cancel, everything still is okay for now. It goes, okay, well these don't disappear. That's not a huge deal. So now we're back in choose monster phase. Alright. What are we doing now? We're going to work on, well, as you can see, we can now select a place to move the monster, so I'm going to work on having the mod give the game the actions for a specific ability. So basically, the mod needs to tell the game once we click here to move this monster there. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. So let's see. So we have this action list class. Oh yeah, thanks Alpha Gamer. It is. I think it's coming together, which is pretty bare bones. Where's the oh yeah, it's a game action, because I didn't want to call it just action because it conflicted with the C# base class action, but So this basically just stores information that we need to know. So maybe instead of just having this action list, I should have like a separate action tree class. Yep. Let's see. What would I say the best way to learn code easily, and what language would I say is best to practice? Well, I basically taught myself, so yeah, I would just try to find a good tutorial online. Like I think try to like recreate Tetris is a really good thing to start off with. A good starting programming language, I would say maybe Java. It's really easy to run, and it has a lot of built-in classes that make almost everything easier. Alright, so I guess this will be the entire tree. We'll need maybe an action branch. What do I want to call this? Let's just all write it in here so I can see everything at once, and we can separate them in different files. Action tree branch. So we'll need some kind of conditional. Condition. So I'm not sure. We won't really need this right now. Well, I guess actually we will for moving, because what if something else moves into our position, then we'd actually just do nothing. So let's say if target empty or can move to. Oh yeah, no problem. You need to practice on practical stuff like computational thinking. Oh yeah, well, it does. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice to start kind of figuring out how to code problems. And I guess the best way I would recommend to teach yourself that is, like I said, just pick some problem that you want to solve, like programming Tetris or even like a calculator or something. And I think this is best to learn that by trial and error. And following a tutorial will help a lot with that as well. And then, so we'll have a list here, which will just give us other branches. Maybe we don't need this root object, but just in case, I think I'll have it. Is it alright if you give me a shout out? Yeah, that's fine with me. I appreciate it. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and create this list right here. Okay, so I might not need this action list anymore. Well, I guess when we sort everything down in the ordering phase, I guess we would flatten it all into just one list, so this is probably okay. Alright, so this looks good. So now that we kind of know how it'll work on C# side, I think the best thing might be to just try to program this in the script and then work backwards. Hi Fire Dragon, good to see you again. Thanks for stopping by. So ability, move. I guess I'll just call this get actions. And we'll have some argument. Oops, I don't need the curly braces in Lua. Probably it will pass the option that we end up using. Yeah, so let's just do that. So local chosen option equals args dot option. Okay, and then we can get the position equals chosen option indicators. Oops. Let's just say get indicator 1. Oh, I spelled that wrong. And then, let's see, so we have this position, so I can just call that position, and then above. So this is how we'll know what position they actually chose. We'll just use the same as the indicator. Which I guess works, but it's probably not the most forward thinking, because all the information that we need about this option might not be stored right here. Maybe a better way. Let's see. I'm not sure what they call this, but this is basically like some class or a table that we can store any information we need in. We'll just move position right there. So now we can get the position again by just calling chosen option memory.position. Alright, Alfie Gamer, thanks again. Alright, so that's one thing we'll need to implement. Okay, so the action will work like this. We'll have a branch. Let's see. So we want basically if space is empty, move monster to position. Let's call this position. And then if position is filled with some other monster, then we'll do nothing. And that's basically it. Alright, so how do I want to build this? Okay, so local action equals new, let's not call it that, local branch equals add ability action branch, and then the type will be, what did I call it? Okay, I guess can move to is fine. Maybe we should call it okay, we'll just leave it can move to for now. Basically it just means that the block is empty and there's no monster already there. I wonder if it might be better to have these conditionals actually like be Lua functions themselves. That would actually probably be a good idea. Okay. So it actually just have condition index. So you can say condition equals, well, we'll have a name here. And then somewhere we'll have to be able to register these conditions. Can move to. Okay, and then we'll want local. Okay, I guess, do we want. It'd be easier to program probably if we let each of these branches also have a name, so that way we don't have to try and remember them by an index. At least the scripts won't. Right, so let's. Okay, so let's call this. I guess a node is the programming name for it. Oops, that's not how you spell it. And then on the node we'll add one branch. So this will be the can move branch. Is node add action branch. If I can spell it. And we should probably maybe require a name right here. So this will be can move, and then we just give it an action. I guess we don't have to have a separate, so I guess action type equals move. I guess active monster is the monster that's actually going to move, and that will be given to us here in the arguments. Monster index, and then target position is right here. So we also need to let this condition be able to access a position. So I think we'll need a memory object here too. And alright, so now we need the fail branch. Equals nodes add action branch. Let's call it fail. Alright, Alfie Gamer. Have a good night. And thanks again. 1 retweet, 1 like sounds good to me so far. Okay. I appreciate anything, so it's really nice of you to do that. And fail branch. So this action type will be none. And we don't have to do anything else really. Alright, so I hope this makes sense. So basically we add a node to the ability, and then the node will have 2 branches, can move and fail, and at some point, once we have all the information we need, the game will be able to collapse this node into just 1 branch, and then we'll be able to execute that branch, and the monster will hopefully actually move. Oh, 2 now sounds great. Okay, so I think that's all we need to do. So I need to implement these memory objects, which are just a Lua table that the mod can put any information it needs to inside to access again at a later point. So we already have the target option class in Lua. I forget what the Moonsharp table class is called. Full and C#. Is it just called table? Well, that would make sense when in it. It's not showing up. Table test. Okay, yeah, right here it is table. Oh, so I need to have the script. I think we might be able to get that. Okay, so public table memory. So I guess I'll need to store this variable here. Alright, so we're going to need to pass the script down. This memory equals new. Okay, so yeah, you have to pass the script, which is the owner, and then you can also give it some default values, but like C# basically is never going to deal with the memory. This is only for the Lua scripts. But we will need the parent. Oops. Okay, so now Unity is gonna let me know that, oh yeah, this is trying to call it without having the script. So I think I can get it from the game data. Yeah, this Lua. I guess I need to make it public. Environment, because I think, yeah, I have this one value here. Yeah, and this script, I think it's named a little confusingly, because you would think it'd be just like one script file, but it's actually like all the script files we load, or all the Lua files we load, are compiled and put into this object. So it's, yeah, that's why I named it environment, because it's more like a script environment, but in fact I might even call it that. Environment. I think I spelled that okay. At least that was one thing that confused me when I first started working with Moonsharp. Alright, so let's see if everything works okay since I added that new memory call right here. We can go ahead and press play and see if there's any errors with that. Alright, so yeah, we get through everything okay. Fortunately, there's not really a way I can inspect that Lua table, but so I guess we also okay. So here the ability get targets Lua caller actually kind of throws away this class when it's done. So we need to store that Lua table in actually here. Okay, well it's not hard to do. Not the indicator, it's actually the option. So public moon sharp interpreter table. Oh, let's call this the Lua memory. And then we can store that easily like this. So the game option equal or Lua memory equals the Lua option dot memory. Yeah, so that's all set up now. I guess I'll play it one more time to make sure everything's okay. I know that the table won't show up here, unfortunately, in the Unity editor, which would make debugging a lot easier, but it doesn't work that way. Yeah, it just shows the indicators, but alright. So now I guess we can move on and make the class that we'll call this new Lua script. So ability get action tree color. And again, okay, let's close all this to clean things up. And I think I can copy and paste this again, just kind of use this class as a base so I don't have to type it all up. Alright, so ability get action tree. Oh yeah, I forgot the Lua at the end. And I won't worry about the result right now. Parameters. I guess we still want to pass that information, but then we also need to pass the ability option that was actually chosen. Okay, so I probably won't need this for now. I need to change out these variables so everything matches up. So what's it complaining about? Oh, okay. It was just still updating. Okay, so now first thing we need to do is make this new argument class, which is ability get action tree args. And this class is basically this right here, this args. Oh, hi, Epic Lazy Taco, thanks for stopping by. How are you doing tonight? Okay, and so of course for any object that we want to be callable in Lua, we need to put this tag, and then Elmoon Sharp will make sure this object is available. And as I've said before, whenever you do this, you want to make sure to hide the constructors unless you want Lua to be able to create new instances of this class, which could happen, but I don't want it to. Okay, so again we'll have the monster index, the ability ID, and I guess we'd have the ability. Okay, so we don't actually want to use this class because it lets us add things to it, and that won't happen. So probably the best thing to do, let's see. Oh yeah, Lazy Taco, that is really sad. But I'm glad you like watching people make Pokemon games, that's what I'm here for. Okay, so I was thinking that maybe I could just pull all the data from this ability target option and put it in here, but I think I actually should maybe, so I have two options here. I can either make another version of this class and just make it not changeable, or I could just make a whole new class that's basically, oh wait, I just said the same thing. I can make a new class that's basically the same thing that's not changeable, or just have a flag here, and when it's set to true you can't change it. Did I implement Lua scripting? I did. Here's some of the scripts. We're still in the process of making things work, but you can see, I think it will run right now. Okay, so if I just comment this out, I can show you how far we've gotten. Forgot one curly brace. You hope I save past broadcasts because you want to check some out. Yeah, I actually put everything up on my YouTube channel. There's a link down in my Twitch channel description. But yeah, I can see when I click on the ability, I use a Lua script to figure out which tiles this monster can move to. So that's basically what this logic was doing. Thanks for subscribing. I do appreciate it. Alright, so let's get back to this. I think the safer thing would be to make a separate class, even though it might be a little busy work. Game in 3D, not 2D. Yeah, I thought about doing it in 2D, but the thing is, it's really, games like this, sometimes it can get really hard to see the board if you can't use a free camera. I know from experience I tried to do a 2D isometric strategy game. It's not so bad in Fire Emblem because the map is relatively flat, but in this game I want to have elevation. Alright, so I think I'll just do a new class. Stop thinking about it and do it. So this will be... I hate having to prefix everything with ability. Action, tree, args, option. Oh yeah, definitely. You hope I'm making my own game and not a clone. Yeah, I'm trying hard to make it unique. Basically, it's going to be kind of like battles. Well, it's pretty much Pokemon battles take place on a 3D board. So I want to have like the team building and mind games that are pretty that are like the signature of Pokemon, but then have them take place on a 3D board. So I think it should feel pretty unique. And of course, I'll be making my own monsters when it comes to that point. Yeah, using the same art branding is like asking for trouble. Yeah, I agree. Fan games can be fun, but at some point, they're gonna come to get you. Yeah, I won't be using any official Pokemon or Fire Emblem things. It'll be all custom made. Alright, so... Okay, so we need the indicators. I'm going to need to make another class for this. But I think I'll go ahead and copy all this information. Alright, and no, we don't want to pass this because something else is going to be setting that. And then in order to make Lua not be able to set this table, we can just add Moonsharp hidden on top of this set. Oh, curiosity, how did I learn to implement Lua? Did you just do it or already know? I had to do a lot of research. I actually tried about a year ago and it was a lot harder, but since there's been a new plugin called Moonsharp, so I just look it up. It's pretty easy to use and very powerful. They have a Unity, what do they call it? Unity package that will actually set up things for you. Tried to do it 3 years ago. Yeah, that's kind of what happened to me. It's a lot easier now. Okay, so I guess, yeah, we can still use this list. Oh, well, no, this is Moonsharp hidden. Yeah, we want to just have get indicator. Index, I guess we might need a num indicators. Let's go ahead and make the indicator class. So, ability, action tree, args, indicator. And no problem, Taco. So again, I can just copy this to get me started, and I'll basically just need to delete the setters here, or at least make them hidden from Moonsharp. So I can just copy this right here and there. And now Lua will only be able to get this value but not set it. Okay, I just realized one problem is this board position. We can actually set these values, but I don't want that to happen. I wonder if I should make this board position just not be mutable, which is just a fancy word for being changeable. I think that might be better. Do I use that anywhere? I guess I should look in the map generation. Okay, now we just get the blocks. Okay, so yeah, I'll just change it so you can't change these because that'll make everything a lot easier. Okay, so we got that all set up. And now I need to change the references to these normal indicators to the not mutable type. Except we don't add this here. So first we need to make sure it's not out of bounds. I probably don't need this either. So this might be out of scope of knowledge, but can you edit Lua on the fly in game files, or does it have to be compiled in the game to run? So, no, I think you can. Well, I guess it depends when you load the file, but like for my game, if I change the file, I wouldn't have to recompile my Unity, like the Unity project, but I would have to exit out the game and restart it, but that's just because I load everything at the beginning. There'd probably be a way that you could detect if scripts were changed and reload them while the game was still running, but I haven't done that. So if index is less than 1 for indicators count, index is greater than indicators count. So again, this is the Lua based index, so everything is increased by 1. So we need to return null. Else we'll return the actual indicator object, which we need to subtract by 1 for the C#. Okay, what's it complaining about? Inconsistent. Oh, okay, this isn't a public class, which it probably should be. If you need to recompile, that would defeat the purpose. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I'm really excited about the time map system in Unity. We'll have to see how they do it. Yeah, they've got some really good, like even in this version, they finally added sprite masks, which makes 2D art so much easier to use. Waiting for 2 years. Yeah, they're quite slow on the 2D front, I've noticed. But I guess they want to make sure they do it right. Oh, is that what happened? They put it on hold to do the online services? Yeah, I can see that. Alright, and so now we just need to get the action tree option. And we can create accessors for each of these, but we need to make sure to hide the setters. Okay, so I think that's everything. Let's go back to our class that we'll call the Lua function and try and hook up some of this information I just created. What's it not like about that? Oh, is it not public? I guess I didn't say anything about it, and meanwhile all that was coming out was pay model revamped. Yeah. Oh, tiled to Unity. Yeah, I never even tried to use that. It didn't seem that useful. Okay, so this is fine. Yeah, we just increase the monster ID by 1 and then get the ability name. But we need to translate this option, so ability action tree args option. Let's make a class to do, a separate function to do this. Translate option. So it's the parameters. So that way we can move. Don't have to have a bunch of code in here. Right, and I'll delete these because we don't need that. Alright, so this is the Lua option. Alright, now this is the game version, so get this class name, Lua option, just create a new one. Whole map is one mesh, which is kind of inefficient. Can't code functionality. Oh, that's true. And therefore you have to work around that. Yeah, and I've also found that just a lot of times it's, especially with something like a tile map, you have to go into another program to edit it. So I can just, it slows down the workflow. I don't know if it's still like that, but. So anyway, Lua option. Yeah, we just move over the memory. Okay, and now we need to create an indicator for each. And the game option dot indicators. Okay, I did delete it when I shouldn't have. I need this available mostly so C# can look at it. So I don't want Lua to be able to even get this, so I can just add Moonsharp hidden right here. Where was I? The new tile map system is amazing, but it's a good start. Oh, it's actually in beta already? I might have to go do that. Okay, so Lua indicator equals. I guess I need to give it the class type, don't I? And I think we can just kind of pass this stuff around. Is the game indicator dot type? Oh well, no, this is an enumeration and that's a string. So switch game indicator type. Let me just. I guess I could just say type.toString. I don't know if I should trust that though. It's not that difficult to go through and change on the strings this way. And then position is the game indicator. Okay, well this is a map index. Thanks for following, Taco, I appreciate it. So how would I do this? Block, position. Okay, I can pass it a hex position, so No, that's not the right function. So from board index. Oh, it also needs the board. Okay. Oh, it's called board position now, isn't it? It doesn't? I thought I made one specifically that took a hex position. Oh, I also need to pass the field. Well, this is called the board now, but... so this is battle board. Oops. Well, an easier way would just be to make a constructor that just takes the actual board index, but this works okay. Alright, and then I need to return. Okay, well first I always forget to do this. So Lua option indicators, add the Lua indicator. And then we just will return this. You enjoy these types of games? Yeah, that's true. I haven't really seen a whole lot of these type of tactile games or Pokemon-like games in Unity. Yeah, well, RPG Maker and Game Maker are good programs, but one of the things I wanted to do with this is I wanted to make it, first of all, moddable, and also have online multiplayer. And as far as I know, you can't do online in Game Maker. I could be wrong, but... Alright, so... now we have the arguments all set up. Okay, this is all fine. Alright, I need to have this function. Yeah, with Unity, with more 2D coming to 2D coming to the front, it's a great time to be using Unity. I definitely agree. Alright, so let's just, oops. Okay, so I actually haven't made the Lua interface class for this yet. The target action node. Ability action tree node. And again, Moonsharp user data. And make it public. And again, hide the constructor. This should be public as well. Alright, so let's make the action branch as well. Ability action branch. Is that what I called it? Yeah, add action branch. Alright, so... okay, I need to register it in Moonsharp. So what information will be in here? I guess we'll have a name. does it have memory? I forget if the branch has memory. Okay, right now just the node does, but I don't know. I don't think that the branch would need any. Because the branch is basically just an action, except it will have this name associated with it. And all these actions will be taken care of by C#, so I don't see any reason why Lua would need to store any information. But I guess we can always add memory if we need. Okay, so we'll also have action type, active monster, oops, it's called board pose. Keep on calling it wrong thing. Target position. That's it. And then I just need to create getters and setters for all these, which I can use this handy script in Visual Studio. Alright, and so the node we know needs... We could either have a list. I guess we should do a list if the name can be changed. But maybe we don't want the name to be changed. By Lua anyway. Probably better that way. Alright, so then we can actually do a dictionary here, which will be the name to the action branch. Branches. Oops, can I spell this right? There we go, third time's a charm. Okay, so what classes or what functions do I have in here? So we need the condition, which is just a string, and then the memory, and then add a branch. Okay, so private table memory and private string condition name. Right, and memory should not be settable in Moonsharp. I mean in Lua. Alright, and then public ability action branch, add action branch. Okay, so we don't want to overwrite a branch, so we should return null if they try to add a duplicate name. Or maybe throw an error. I'm not sure how that would work. Yeah, I need to look into how errors or exception handling works with Moonsharp. Because what I don't want to happen is if I throw an error here, it will cause my game to crash. I want it to be handled in the Lua script. I could also just return true or false if it's successful or not. I always forget in Lua you can have multiple return values. But for now I guess I'll just return null. Okay, so if branches contains key name, return null. Otherwise we'll make a new branch. And give it the name that's passed. And then we need to set this in the dictionary. And return it. So I might as well have a get branch if you've already created it. can do this the same, except it'll kind of be inverted. So if it contains... Oh, we can do this a little quicker if we use the try get value. So if branches try get value, then we return branch, otherwise we'll return null. Oops. That's another strange thing about Lua. It's null in C#, but then nil in Lua, so I tend to get those mixed up. Alright. So let's see, what's the next step? Alright, I guess we have all this set up now. So do we support everything we need here? I think so. We got the memory, we can set everything. Alright, so now let's go back to the Lua caller. So ability, action, and then create ability action node, and then I need to generate this method. So is it as simple as just creating it and returning a new one? Oh, you have experience with it too? Yeah, I don't... Some of the things Lua does, I seem like I did it just... Like, they chose to do it just to be different. Like the one index list and nil, but... Still can't get mad at them because I love that language so much, but that stuff does annoy me. It's funny you should bring up WoW because actually one of the first times I used Lua was writing add-ons for that. So we'll keep this list around. I guess we just have to create a new one. So node list, add. Oh gosh, I keep wanting to put an I in there for some reason. I don't think I need to set any values. Oh, it needs to create the memory here. So I need to pass the script. Did I enjoy XML? No. I hate XML too. I even am forced to use it a little bit in this project, but I try to stay away from it as much as possible. But luckily, some of the newer things that the development team did to add-ons lessen the reliance on XML, so I did appreciate that. No particular reason, you just don't like how it works. Well, I don't blame you. It's kind of, I guess, clunky is a good word for it. How you have to end every tag. Alright, so we just set the database, Lua, script environment, and I think everything's happy now. So do we want any return value? I guess we should return true if there wasn't any problems. Clunky's the word you're about to type while. So we both had bad experiences with it. Okay, so alright, let's make a new field here. And this closure again is the name that Moonsharp gives to the Lua functions. So let's get action tree. Sounds okay. I'll need to go load this function. Get action tree. And here we'll check to make sure it actually returned true. And I'm not trying to make these too descriptive because I'm probably going to change how they work. Okay, so what do we want to return here? I guess it'll just be that action, what do I call it? Up here. Okay, it's just action tree. But actually, before I get to this part, I should probably test to make sure this actually works so far. I'm going to do a lot of error checking in the Lua functions. Well, yeah, because I want to try to make things as, like if there's a problem in the Lua function, I want to try and let the mod author know so they can fix it. So that's my main goal. But also, I don't want Lua functions to ever be able to crash the game. So I kind of get two birds with one stone by doing all these exceptions. Alright, so we need to load this new function. So we got to go, first we have to add this a field in the table of contents. So get action tree. And then if I go back up to the loading, so the load manager, I just need to call load Lua function one more time here. Every time I come in here I realize how huge this script is. I need to see if I can shrink it down a bit. Get action tree, and then finally in the asset organizer I just need to deposit this function into the database. So let's see, did I already, yeah I did. Alright, so now that's all taken care of. How far along am I in programming the game? I notice you have a ton of scripts. Yeah, so I've been working on the game for maybe a month and a half now. I'm trying, and in that time I was mostly working on all the online capability and loading mods. So now that that's all done, I'm finally getting into some of the more fun aspects of the game, like the actual gameplay. Yeah, basically all these scripts is kind of all supporting what you saw. Alright, so mostly all behind the scenes stuff. Okay, so, okay. So obviously I need to create the class that gets that calls this Lewis script. Well, I already did that. How do I want to say this? I guess I need to create the class that calls this function. So when would I do that? I guess right before we send everything to the server. And the players will never know. Yeah, that's exactly true. I always think it's funny when people complain that developers take too long to do something because they think it's easy. And I can guarantee that developers would do something quickly if they could. It's probably just a huge amount of code underneath that they can't see. Alright, so let's just look in the choice phase manager and see where the best place to insert this Lua call would be. Actually, it would be at the very end of the selection phase because the selection flow manager needs to return the ability tree to the rest of the game. So it'd be like right here before we exit. Okay, so let's clean everything up here so I can have a fresh slate. So I have... where's the class that gathers all the actions? Choice server, I forget what it's called. Feeling like I need to split this up into more namespaces, but did I delete it? Maybe I did. Oh, here it is, Actions Collector. Gosh, I skipped right over it. Okay, so yeah, there's this message. Am I planning to take the game to Steam, like a web-based game? Actually, haven't. Well, ideally I'd put it on Steam for sure. I don't know if I can use the WebGL that Unity has built in. I'm not sure if you can do, if I'd be able to load Lua scripts on that because I think they lock down the file system. So, which is a bit of a shame, but I guess it's for the best for security purposes, but alright, so we have the waiting players on player actions chosen. So this is what I want. So the add range, but this will be a little different now, won't it? It's actually more like a list of action trees, one for each player. Okay, so I shouldn't use this right now. Let's see. I guess it's basically a list of action trees, but I don't really like doing that. I guess that's okay. Well, it's really not, because when do we create this list? Okay, so let's just make another class. I guess it'll be in data. Public action. Well, I guess I could try and be funny and call it action forest, but I think action tree list is more descriptive. Just make a constructor that will just create this list right away. It's basically the whole reason that I couldn't use just a simple list, but alright. So do I want to rename this component now? Oh no, I guess that's fine. It's a turn actions for each player. Maybe the action tree itself should have a player index. Or maybe I should put that in here instead. Well, I guess putting in the action tree itself isn't that big of a deal, but I don't know if I want... Oh, well, no, because the action tree is tied to a specific monster, so... Okay, so I don't need to do this anymore. That's just creating a new one. I guess I do need to make sure it's not null. So if... we'll do that. Oh, we can do it now because we need to clear it. Actions value equals null, then we'll just create a new one. Clear. Alright, and then here it finds all the players that we need to wait to get their actions. Alright, and then this function is called when something actually has actions to give us. And they'll give us an action tree. Oops. Oh, it's right here. Okay, well now the player ID is embedded in the action tree, so we don't have to have this separate class. So what do I want to call this? On action tree generated. I guess that's okay. So it'll just be a message that will send us a specific action tree. That's right, isn't it? Or did I call it player index? So it's the same thing, but I guess I should be consistent. Alright, so if waiting players contains this player, then we'll remove it from the list and then add this action tree to the action tree list. Value list add. And then here. Alright, so this was just looping through to see what, it was just testing. But this one can't be used anymore because we changed the way that we store actions. Okay, so basically once all waiting players have been taken care of, we can call this message, which will move the game on to the next phase. Okay, so right now nothing calls this, right? Okay, so what I need to do is on the selection flow manager, I guess I could make another class that would take care of this. Do I want to do that? I guess it's probably the best idea. So we'll need another phase here. Get actions. So we'll change this from inactive to get actions. Alright, Taco, thanks for coming by. I actually only have about 10 minutes until I've got to wrap up, but I appreciate you coming by and chatting. Alright, so let's create the next class here. Alright, so in the back of my mind I'm kind of thinking about how will AI handle this. But I'm gonna kind of try not to think about that because it's just gonna confuse me. So yeah, for right now I'm just not going to worry about the AI, and when we get to the point that we need to program in the AI, I will edit these scripts as needed. So let's just call this the selection finalizer. Yeah, I guess that's fine. It transforms a selection into a group of actions, specifically an action tree. Oh, no problem, Taco. I'm glad that Moonsharp interests you. It's really made things easier for me, so I'll probably be streaming again tomorrow, so. Alright, so what do we need here? Well, we definitely need the query handle to call the Lua function, or rather call the function that calls the Lua function. Yeah, I want to get these types. So let's call this tree query, and then tree query equals controller. Oh, I don't actually have the controller. Subcontroller dot use query. Oops, I already had this all typed out. Oh, that's another repository for finite state machines. Oh, that sounds useful actually. Okay, so another thing we'll need to do, I think I'll copy a bit from here because we want to subscribe. Where is it? Oh, it's right up at the top, of course, but I really just want the select phase. So private variable sub. Alright, and then do we need the ability scope? I guess maybe. Current selection scope. I guess we do. Get component. better parameters. Option equals scope, options, scope, option index. Oops. Okay, yeah, that's all fine. Oh, but I don't want to clear this out. So basically, we can do what we need to with the results. But for now, I just want this to be called. So you're about to go swap my buddy's stream. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, good night, and thanks again for coming by and watching me stream. Okay, so I would like to maybe... Are we ready to play? I think we might be. The indentions got all messed up. That's what's confusing me. Alright, there we go. I knew that looked weird. Alright, so a couple things I need to do is on the play subcontroller, I need to instantiate these new classes. This and new Lua collar. Get action tree. And yeah, this should not be choose target, this should be get actions. Okay, I think we're ready. I'm just going to play. I'm pretty sure there'll be an error, but I'm gonna see. Well, I guess I shouldn't be pessimistic. What's this about? Okay, we actually don't need this turn option chooser at all anymore. It's obsolete, so I'm just going to delete it. We've completely replaced it. Oh yeah, I can already tell we're actually going to have problems because I changed the type of that one list. Okay, that's a problem here. Oh, we can't set the row like that. Well, that's easily fixed. I'm surprised it didn't complain to me earlier because I specifically went into Lua to check. Oh right, and then null because this is in the map generation, so we don't have a reference to the board at this point. Is everything okay now, Unity? Okay, I'm pretty sure this is gonna cause... Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't even have... Here we don't have... we didn't set up the XML class, or not XML class, XML table of contents. So move, did I call it actions? And just so it won't complain to me, I'll go ahead and just copy the same thing into the other two ability files. Sometimes if you press play too quickly, it doesn't like that. Okay, another loading error. No value given for get action tree query. Oh. Yeah, this doesn't work. Can't have a copy like that. So now I'm gonna have to go copy this to the other ones. Okay, yeah, so now it goes all the way through, but it's going to complain that tag is already in use with selected turn actions. It's already in use by an actionless variable, and that's just because we can see, where is it now? Find all references to this. Yeah, we can see in choice finalizer and in a turn effects collector, it just uses an action list instead of an action tree list. Yeah, so we'll need to go and fix that. And unfortunately I'm already 5 minutes over, so I think we'll have to do that tomorrow. I was hoping we'd get to actually run this script, but at least we still have Friday, so we'll get this done before the weekend. Alright, well thanks everybody again for coming by, watching and chatting. If you missed part of the stream and you want to catch up, I will upload this to YouTube in the morning. And of course I'll be live again tomorrow around 7 or 8:30 Eastern. And we'll continue where we left off, debugging this script, and maybe we'll move on to the ordering phase where we'll, like I said here, we'll need to get special stats and other unknown information from the server and collapse all the trees into one list, like I was talking about earlier. So yeah, it should be pretty fun. Alright, well, everybody have a good night, and hope to see you tomorrow. Bye bye.